All right, good morning. Continuing to look at the subject of Aaron, going through the different words of the Bible. And we started out in the A's, and the very first word is Aaron. So we're looking at verses that talk about Aaron. Specifically, we've looked at the lineage of Aaron, the marriage of Aaron, the descendants of Aaron, and we left off where he meets Moses in the wilderness and is made spokesman for Moses. And we left off with Exodus chapter 4, verses 14 through 16. And now we're moving to verses 27 through 31 of the same chapter. And it says, Now the Lord said to Aaron, Go to meet Moses in the wilderness. So he went and met him at the mountain of God, and he kissed him. And Moses told Aaron all the words of the Lord with which he had sent him, and all the signs that he had commanded him to do. Then Moses and Aaron went and assembled all the elders of the sons of Israel. And Aaron spoke all the words which the Lord had spoken to Moses. He then performed the signs in the sight of the people. So the people believed, and when they heard that the Lord was concerned about the sons of Israel, and that he had seen their affliction, then they bowed low and worshipped. All right, and now chapter 7, verse 1. Exodus chapter 7, verse 1. Then the Lord said to Moses, See, I make you as God to Pharaoh, and your brother Aaron shall be your prophet. And verse 2, You shall speak all that I command you, and your brother Aaron shall speak to Pharaoh, that he let the sons of Israel go out of his land. All right, now talking about the inspiration of Aaron. Exodus chapter 12, verse 1. Now the Lord said to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt. Give me something here to help me keep track of these verses here. They're hard to see. Leviticus chapter 10, verse 8. The Lord then spoke to Aaron, saying, Oh, that's it. Very short verse. And then Leviticus chapter 11, verse 1. Basically showing the verses that talk about God talking to Moses. Chapter 11, verse 1. The Lord spoke again to Moses and to Aaron, saying to them. Chapter 13, verse 1. Then the Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying. Then chapter 15, verse 1. It's interesting that's verse 1 of each chapter. The Lord also spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying. And then Numbers chapter 2, verse 1. Now the Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying. Numbers chapter 4, verse 1. Then the Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying. And then verse 17 of chapter 4. Then the Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying. Chapter 18, verse 1 of Numbers. So the Lord said to Aaron, You and your sons and your father's household with you shall bear the guilt in connection with the sanctuary, and you and your sons with you shall bear the guilt in connection with your priesthood. chapter 19, verse 1. Then the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, in chapter 20, verse 12. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, because you have not believed me to treat me as holy in the sight of the sons of Israel, therefore you shall not bring this assembly into the land which I have given them. Okay. Now we're going to talk about Aaron being commissioned as deliverer of Israel. Exodus chapter 6, verse 13. Exodus chapter 6, verse 13. Then the Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron and gave them a charge to the sons of Israel and to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to bring the sons of Israel out of the land of Egypt. In verse 26 of the same chapter. It was the same Aaron and Moses to whom the Lord said, bring out the sons of Israel from the land of Egypt according to their hosts. In verse 27 of the same chapter, they were the ones who spoke to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, about bringing out the sons of Israel from Egypt. It was the same Moses and Aaron. And then Joshua chapter 24, verse 5. Then I sent Moses and Aaron, and I plagued Egypt by what I did in its midst, and afterward I brought you out. First Samuel chapter 12, verse 8. When Jacob went into Egypt and your fathers cried out to the Lord, then the Lord sent Moses and Aaron, who brought your fathers out of Egypt and settled them in this place. Psalm chapter 77, verse 20. Thou didst lead thy people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. Psalm chapter 105, verse 26. He sent Moses his servant and Aaron whom he had chosen. Micah chapter 6, verse 4. Micah can be kind of hard to find because it's a small book towards the end of the Old Testament. Micah chapter 6, verse 4. Indeed, I brought you up from the land of Egypt and ransomed you from the house of slavery. And I sent before you Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. Okay. All right. And let's see here. Still got some time. Okay, we're going to talk about not Moses. We're going to talk about Aaron summoned to Sinai with Nadab, Abihu, and 70 elders. Exodus chapter 19. Back to Exodus. Exodus chapter 19. Verse 24. Then the Lord said to him, go down and come up again, you and Aaron with you, But do not let the priests and the people break through to come up to the Lord, lest he break forth upon them. Chapter 24, verse 1. Then he said to Moses, come up to the Lord, you and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and you shall worship at a distance. Verse 9 of the same chapter. Then Moses went up with Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 elders, 70 of the elders of Israel. And verse 10. And they saw the God of Israel, and under his feet there appeared to be a pavement of sapphire, as clear as the sky itself. All right. And now we're going to talk about Aaron as it relates to priesthood. I don't know what's going on with the camera there. I don't know why it like zoomed in and then zoomed out. But anyway, the priesthood of Aaron, starting with Exodus chapter 28, verse 1. Then bring near to yourself Aaron your brother, and his sons with him from among the sons of Israel, to minister as priest to me, Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, Eleazar and Ithamar, Aaron's sons. Chapter 29, verse 9 of Exodus. And you shall gird them with sashes, Aaron and his sons, and bind caps on them, and they shall have the priesthood by a perpetual statute. So you shall ordain Aaron and his sons. Numbers chapter 17. Oh, the entire chapter. Okay. Make sure we got enough time here. Numbers chapter 17. 13 verses, not very long. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the sons of Israel, and get from them a rod for each father's household, 12 rods from all their leaders according to their father's households. You shall write each name on his rod, and write Aaron's name on the rod of Levi, for there is one rod for the head of each of their father's households. You shall then deposit them in the tent of meeting in front of the testimony where I meet with you. And it will come about that the rod of the man whom I choose will sprout. Thus I shall lessen from upon myself the grumblings of the sons of Israel who are grumbling against you. Moses therefore spoke to the sons of Israel, and all their leaders gave him a rod apiece, for each leader according to their father's households, 12 rods, with a rod of Aaron among their rods. So Moses deposited the rods before the Lord in the tent of the testimony. Now it came about on the next day that Moses went into the tent of the testimony, and behold, the rod of Aaron for the house of Levi had sprouted and put forth buds and produced blossoms, and it bore ripe almonds. Moses then brought out all the rods from the presence of the Lord to all the sons of Israel, and they looked, and each man took his rod. But the Lord said to Moses, put back the rod of Aaron before the testimony to be kept as a sign against the rebels, that you may put an end to their grumblings against me, so that they should not die. Thus Moses did, just as the Lord had commanded him, so he did. Then the sons of Israel spoke to Moses, saying, behold, we perish, we are dying, we are all dying. Everyone who comes near to the tabernacle of the Lord must die. Are we to perish completely? And then it continues in chapter 18 in verse 1. So the Lord said to Aaron, you and your sons and your father's household with you shall bear the guilt in connection with the sanctuary, and you and your sons with you shall bear the guilt in connection with your priesthood. And I think we read that verse already. Psalm chapter 99, verse 6. Psalm 99, verse 6. Moses and Aaron were among his priests, and Samuel was among those who called on his name. They called upon the Lord, and he answered them. Hebrews chapter 5, verse 4, jumping all the way to the New Testament for this one. I was just reading Hebrews earlier in my daily Bible reading. Hebrews chapter 5, verse 4. And no one takes the honor to himself, but receives it when he is called by God, even as Aaron was. All right, now we're getting into the consecration to the priesthood. Back to Exodus. Oh, okay. Two whole chapters here, Exodus 28 and 29, and that's pretty much where I'm going to have to end it today. Yeah, let's see if I can get through these two chapters real quick. All right, so this is talking about, chapter 28 is talking about garments of the priests. And again, this is under the subject of consecration of Aaron to the priesthood. Okay, so starting with chapter 28, garments of the priests. Then bring near to yourself Aaron your brother, and his sons with him, from among the sons of Israel, to minister as priests to me. Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar, Aaron's sons. And you shall make holy garments for Aaron your brother, for glory and for beauty. And you shall speak to all the skillful persons whom I have endowed with the spirit of the wisdom, that they make Aaron's garments to consecrate him, that he may minister as priest to me. And these are the garments which they shall make: a breastpiece, and an ephod, and a robe, and a tunic of checkered work, a turban, and a sash. And they shall make holy garments for Aaron your brother and his sons, that he may minister as priest to me. And they shall take the gold, and the blue, and the purple, and the scarlet material, and the fine linen. They shall also make the ephod of gold, of blue, and purple, and scarlet material, and fine twisted linen, the work of the skillful workman. It shall have 2 shoulder pieces joined to its 2 ends, that it may be joined. And the skillfully woven band which is on it shall be like its workmanship of the same material, of gold, of blue, and purple, and scarlet material, and fine twisted linen. And you shall take 2 onyx stones, and engrave on them the names of the sons of Israel, 6 of their names on the one stone, and the names of the remaining 6 on the other stone, according to their birth. As a jeweler engraves a signet, you shall engrave the 2 stones, according to the names of the sons of Israel. You shall set them in filigree settings of gold. And you shall put the 2 stones on the shoulder pieces of the ephod as stones of memorial for the sons of Israel. And Aaron shall bear their names before the Lord on his 2 shoulders for a memorial. And you shall make filigree settings of gold, and 2 chains of pure gold. You shall make them of twisted cordage work, and you shall put the corded chains on the filigree settings. And you shall make a breastpiece of judgment, the work of a skillful workman. Like the work of the ephod, you shall make it of gold, of blue, and purple, and scarlet material, and fine twisted linen you shall make it. It shall be square and folded double, a span in length and a span in width. And you shall mount on it 4 rows of stones. The first row shall be a row of ruby, topaz, and emerald, and the second row a turquoise, a sapphire, and a diamond, and the third row a jacinth, and agate, and an amethyst, and the fourth row a beryl, and an onyx, and a jasper. They shall be set in gold filigree. And the stone shall be according to the names of the sons of Israel, 12 according to their names. There shall be like the engravings of a seal, each according to his name for the 12 tribes. And you shall make on the breastpiece chains of twisted cordage and work in pure gold. And you shall make on the breastpiece 2 rings of gold, and shall put the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastpiece. And you shall put the 2 cords of gold on the 2 rings at the ends of the breastpiece. And you shall put the other 2 ends of the 2 cords on the 2 filigree settings, and put them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod at the front of it. And you shall make 2 rings of gold, and shall place them on the 2 ends of the breastpiece, on the edge of it, which is toward the inner side of the ephod. And you shall make 2 rings of gold, and put them on the bottom of the 2 shoulder pieces of the ephod, on the front of it, close to the place where it is joined, above the skillfully woven band of the ephod. And they shall bind the breastpiece by its rings to the rings of the ephod with a blue cord, that it may be on the skillfully woven band of the ephod, and that the breastpiece may not come loose from the ephod. And Aaron shall carry the names of the sons of Israel in the breastpiece of judgment over his heart when he enters the holy place, for a memorial before the Lord continually. And you shall put in the breastpiece of judgment the Urim and the Thummim, and they shall be over Aaron's heart when he goes in before the Lord. And Aaron shall carry the judgment of the sons of Israel over his heart before the Lord continually. And you shall make the robe of the ephod all of blue. And there shall be an opening at its top in the middle of it. Around its opening there shall be a binding of woven work, as it were the opening of a coat of mail, that it may not be torn. And you shall make on its hem pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet material all around on its hem, and bells of gold between them all around. A golden bell and a pomegranate, a golden bell and a pomegranate all around on the hem of the robe. And it shall be on Aaron when he ministers, and its tinkling may be heard when he enters and leaves the holy place before the Lord, that he may not die. You shall also make a plate of pure gold, and shall engrave on it like the engravings of a seal, holy to the Lord. And you shall fasten it on a blue cord, and it shall be on the turban. It shall be at the front of the turban. And it shall be on Aaron's forehead, and Aaron shall take away the iniquity of the holy things which the sons of Israel consecrate with regard to all their holy gifts. And it shall always be on his forehead, that they may be accepted before the Lord. And you shall weave the tunic of checkered work of fine linen, and shall make a turban of fine linen, and you shall make a sash, the work of a weaver. And for Aaron's sons you shall make tunics. You shall also make sashes for them, and you shall make caps for them, for glory and for beauty. And you shall put them on Aaron your brother, and on his sons with him, and you shall anoint them, and ordain them, and consecrate them, that they may serve me as priests. And you shall make for them linen breeches to cover their bare flesh. They shall reach from the loins even to the thighs. And they shall be on Aaron and on his sons when they enter the tent of meeting, or when they approach the altar to minister in the holy place, so that they do not incur guilt and die. It shall be a statute forever to him and to his descendants after him. So that was all talking about the garments of the priests. And that's where I'm going to have to end it today. Next time, I'll be looking at the consecration of the priests, reading chapter 29, which is 46 verses long. So that's going to take longer than I have time for today. But anyway, so that's it. Continuing on to see what Aaron is about in the Bible. And so enjoy that information, ponder on it, and have a great day.